Fans of the Horus Heresy, the mightiest of the Neverborn's legions, and colossal resin miniatures to really make your eyes pop out. Thank you very much for joining me for an unboxing video. Well, firstly, before we start this unboxing, I'd just like to say hello, and I hope you're all well. It's been a while since I did a video. This is coming on the back of the Horus Heresy Open Day 2022, which I was very fortunate enough to get a ticket to go to. And at that event, a friend of mine who I was there with, Josh, bought this amazing miniature. And this is none other than Tabard, the Demon General of Signus. And there we go. Josh has very kindly lent me this model to unbox it for the first time and share it with all you guys and girls. So that is what we are going to do. Now, a little bit of background to this. So this miniature has not yet been put on general release. This was an early release model that was available in limited quantities at the open day. So it's Forge World, as you can see. It's a full resin kit. And what I'm going to do in the video is I'm going to open up the box. I'm going to show you around the kit. I'm going to take a look at the parts, the instructions, get a feel for all the details because they are amazing, and generally appraise the quality of this very chunky piece. So that's the plan. And without further ado, let's go in. So we have a very thrifty opening device today, which is a blunted scalpel blade. And that's just because I'm near a hobby board with one on. So as you can see, it comes in one of these, what I call medium-sized Forge World boxes, or medium-large perhaps, because they've now got a larger one that they send their bigger kits in. It's the same kit, same box that you would get, say, a Forge World Rhino in. Not that you can get those anymore, but you know the ones, or a Sicaran. So what do we get? Well, we get a lid, so we'll get rid of the lid. And then we have a number of boxes and a base. So this is a knight-size base, I believe. So yeah, it's a pretty chunky base he comes with, and that's an indication of just how big this model is. And then we get a series of plastic trays loaded up with resin components, and some serious chunk going on here. And then we've also got some parts wrapped in bubble wrap. So before we get into the bits, first we've got a packing slip. So this was cast and packed up on the 19th of January 2022, so they've had this ready for a while. Always interesting. It's the start of May now, so they've had these ready for a while. And then here we have the instructions. Tabard, the Demon General of Signus. If you like to read the fluff, have a pause and have a read. And here we've got a photo of this model. Now, as you can probably gather, this is a huge piece. It's going to be difficult to articulate it. Even if you've watched the videos of this that were put out as promos by GW and seen photos, you can't get your head around just how colossal this model is. And that was my lasting impression from it, having seen it yesterday. And also the sheer three-dimensional depth that this model has as well. It just doesn't carry across in the photo. So yeah, it's a very impressive piece. I was, yeah, most impressed by it. So we get an exploded diagram showing all the different components. You can see there are quite a few, quite spiky. Anyone who has built the Demon Prince and Herald of Khorne from Forge World will appreciate the spikiness, although this seems quite modest in comparison to that, which is not a bad thing. Then we get the usual description about how to assemble and work with resin in general terms. And then we get into the detailed instructions. Now, this is it's a demon model, so I think it's probably going to be a fairly straightforward build, and following this in sequence should work pretty good. Probably the most technically challenging part of this model is this incredible whip. And as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces making it up. Now, if that were for me, I'll be going for some pinning at all these joints for strength. The sculptor has done it in such a way as to not have the whip sticking out, so it could be easily damaged and knocked off. And that's it assembled. But a mighty piece. Okay, so let's start with what's in the bags. So, first bag, we have a wing. And this is the mightiest resin wing I've ever seen from Forge World. Wow. Just look at the chonk on that. I'm presuming, I'm not sure if this hole is actually a detail. Oh yes it is, yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah, that is hefty. Lots of Venus detailing. These bat-like wings. Yeah, with the digit bone running down it. This is styled on a bat as opposed to a pterosaurian style wing, where you have a bone running all the way along and just a sheet of, or a membrane on the inside. Wow, hefty. So that's a wing. So I'm guessing we're going to have a bit more wing action in some of these. Aha, yes, and sure enough. Here's a second wing. Is this, where is that? Oh gosh, so that must be right hand side. Yeah, that's colossal. Bit of a mold seam to clean up there. Yeah, this is immense. Now, one thing that I am interested to see now this model's out in the wild, or certainly in limited quantities, is how people paint it up. Because the studio models like this, they are painted to an extremely high technical standard, but they're also painted in a way as to sort of be a general demo of a miniature. And they don't always show the model off to its full artistic potential, is my view. So yeah, I'm quite excited to see how some people choose to paint this. Moving on to the final, or the penultimate piece of bubble wrap, and we have another wing. Got some hefty, chunky appendage attachment here. And this arm, it's arm-like thing. This is a real mutant. So he's got one of the supporting bone ridges or bone structures is coming out of the elbow, but it's demons, so anything goes. Got all this sort of gnarly, crackled skin, almost as if it's like lava, crusted lava breaking over. I can imagine that. I can imagine a lot of heat from within this hideous beast. Yeah, looks great. Casting quality and stuff, well, they've taken the gates off, which is always nice. A bit of cleanup to do around taking the gates off and removing some seams. Generally though, the casting so far looks very good. And this is the opposite side inner wing, we could call it, again with the mutant elbow ridge attachment point structure. And here's where the outer wing is going to attach. Yeah, chunky. Okay, let's dive into some of these boxes. I think we'll do this box first, and then we'll finish with that box, which is a view of the whip, which is probably a topic in of itself. Right, so in this large tray, this is a supersized tray, we've got the base and the command. Right, so let's start with his disgusting fullness as main torso. Right, wow, gosh. There you go. Commander's visage, the demon general of Signus, Bane of the Primarch Sanguinius. That's a big old piece. Yeah. Quite a lot of cleanup to do on all the spines in terms of taking shims away, and some cleanup to do where the mold's joined on the underside, and the remains of these gates to do as well. Very hefty though. You can see there's a whole set of hornage attachment points. There's a pair of horns here, a horn here, a horn there. Maybe even some teeth to go in there as well. Yes, there's teeth to go in there. This of course is a cornate demon. What you might imagine is a super bloodthirster. Yeah, incredible. Very classic Khorne demon visual cues. Then we have the first arm. The symbol of Khorne, the stylized skull. And then Commander is wearing a mixture of plate mail armor. with many skulls adorning it, which is what you would expect of such a mighty demon of Khorne. And 3-fingered hands, which is interesting, adding to its inhuman aspect. Of course, this has 2 weapons. It has a huge demon axe, and then it has a whip as well. Just forget what the names of those are. Shall we see if we can find out? No, it just says whip and axe in the thing. So perhaps in the comments, if anyone knows what the name of the weapons are, please do share them down there. And the second arm, so this is the arm holding the colossal demonic axe. Some nice little Khorne badge clasps on the armour, on the forearm guard. More skulls, more Khorne, more spikes, more talons. Awesome. Okay, let's do a little bit of leg action now. So leg number 1. These colossal pillars of sinew and bone that it stands on. Reminiscent here, some of this lower bit of the styling of the Samos model. Samos is a very different style, a very lean, wiry looking thing, whereas Khabanda is a massive, muscled, absolute unit of a demon. But some sort of this styling here in terms of how demonic flesh has been done and its unnatural aspect, that reminds me of the Samos model, which I do own a copy of. Brilliant. Skulls for the skull knee. Excellent. And then the second leg. Oh yes, of course you do need an extra set of eyes just to creep out the mortals. Not that they aren't already going to be terrified to be in the presence of this terrifying entity from the warp. Let's now do, what's this? We have a bit of lower torso action. It's got some lovely chunky attachment points there. That's not, I don't think that would need pinning. That's such a hefty point. Just make sure you get glue on all the contact surfaces. That's going to hold. It's nice on this model how they've been able to use the characteristics of resin casting with flexible silicon molds to attach all the spikes, or so many of the spikes, to the actual single cast. This makes it way easier to build while still having the incredible detailing. One of the things I found hard when I built the Demon Prince of Khorne by Forge World is just a huge number of spikes that required attaching. That was technically a very challenging model to build. This one, far fewer to attach, which is rather nice actually. As I said, while still keeping it nice and spiky. We have a tail. Some nice skin texturing. A faint mold seam to remove there. I find cleaning mold seams off detail on these okay, because you can easily recut details and it doesn't matter if you change how it looks a bit, because it's also chaotic and non-technological looking. You've just got more room to play with in terms of hiding any little issues that have come out through casting. And then I think we have the Tabard of Death. Yeah, we've got the same creepy icon that was on one of the knees with the double-eyed skull. The general badge of chaos. And then we have on the Turgies, we have lots of little badges of Khorne and skulls. And oh, what's this? Just down at the bottom, we have a Mark IV Maximus armor helm, taken no doubt from some poor blood angel. Yeah, great detailing. Of course, that Space Marine helm could be painted up in any colour. And talking of which, we then have the base, which we have another Ravaged Space Marine. And this is where his foot is going to stand here. Yeah, so very cool, mashed up, smashed up Space Marine there. Again in Mark IV armour. And of course that's not the only thing that Khabanda is crushing underfoot. We've got this Chaos badge, and that's perhaps indicative of summoning icons on the battlefield. But we have an absolutely destroyed, or what is left of an absolutely destroyed, Blood Angels, Leviathan Dreadnought. You can imagine these huge gouges being cut into it by some colossal demon or some demonic sword. And even tucked into the ruin of the hull. You can see the remains of the head section. We have a Blood Angel badge there. Depending how you wanted to do this model, you could cut that away. If you didn't want to do it stood on Blood Angels. But here we have just a lovely little touch, and it's a feather. And if you have Book 8 Malevolence, you may remember the pencil sketch by Rachel Pierce of Sanguinius. And in that there is a single feather floating down from his wings. Perhaps this is symbolically that feather, because of course Sanguinius was laid low by Ka'Bandha. And then there's actually a few more. There's a feather here, a feather there. So yes, is Ka'Bandha clipping the wings of Sanguinius at this point in the story. Fantastic. I mean, that is a brilliant piece in and of itself. Yeah, love the sculpting and ideas there. Right, final box. It's whip time. Whip and weapons, probably. Right, we're going to have to just go whippy. Right, so let's start looking at this whip, or the whip pieces. So this is one of the, I think it has 3 ends. So cat o' 3 tails. Some nice design features here, and we have like this vein merging into the steel of a weapon. That little touches like this just add to the unnatural, demonic nature of this weapon. It might be made of, may look like it's made of steel and metal in a conventional way, but it isn't. It is born of the warp. A nice stack of skulls there. Even H.R. Giger would have been impressed by the tessellation going on there. Very, very spiky. But again, all the spikes have been contained, or certainly the majority of them being contained into a single piece, which does make working with them easier. And it seems every piece has got this Khorne badge on it as well. We're probably going to get some which don't have it on now, but... Oh yeah, so the ends don't. Yeah, so here's another one of the 3 ends of the whip. These are all, I mean, there's a bit of flash, and there's casting gates to remove, as you always have with a resin model, but the general casting precision looks very good on these whips. I mean, clearly a kit like this is a massive project, and not something that if I were to buy one I would be rushing to do. You know, I'd take my time and my care over building it, because it is going to be a centerpiece of an army. Yeah, fantastic. And that's the juncture, which splits off into the 3 ends of a demon whip. Right, what else does that leave? So we've got a whole bunch of little details. So sticking with whips and weapons, we have the head of a demon axe. Oh, we have half a head. Aha, here we go. That's going to go like that. And this is actually, there's quite a lot of shims to remove there, but this is, it's almost like a chain axe, which is fascinating. With all these teeth, it's like a real techno-demonic weapon feel to it. I do like that. Got quite a lot of spikes. So these are all the point details that are going to attach to various parts of the miniature. These two look like they go on the tips of its wings. I think that's part of the base detail. Yep, you can see it there. Like a part of a chaos icon, perhaps a summoning portal for Ruinstorm demons. Those of you who know the rules for Book 8, Malevolence, Ruinstorm demons, a portal is a key part of how that army plays. And a variety of more claws. I mean, there's so many claws here, I don't know if I dare ask where they all go. Claws and protuberances. So moving into the finer detail. Okay, now this is an enigma. Where does this go? 8. He comes with a helmet. My goodness me. We have health and safety helmet for a Khorne demon general. There you go. That's an obvious thing to, well, probably, hopefully that'll push fit. I suppose you could stick it on if you want, but it'd be nice to have the options for both. But yeah, a helmet, that's brilliant. Love that. Very reminiscent of Chaos Warriors of early edition Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and a touch of a Sauron to it as well. Yes, very good. And a helmet. That sold me on this kit in general terms now. It has a helmet. 2 more armour panels with a cornucopia of skulls on this particular one surrounding the badge of Khorne. Lovely detailing. More skulls, more chaos badges, more Khorne badges. It only seems apt for such a mighty Khorne demon to have so many badges of Khorne. It seems very in theme. These are part of the array of horns around Khabanda's head. Some more spikes, horns, and protuberances. I don't know where all these go, sorry. But I'm just trying to give you a feel for all the parts in the kit. And finally, to finish with, I found the teeth for his lower jaw. So as well as some more armour plates with skulls and badges of Khorne, we've got here, and this is Khabanda's lower jaw. There it is. Wow, so there you go. Unboxing of Khabanda, Demon General of Signus. What do I think? I mean, it is an awesome model, no doubt about it. This is a very impressive piece. And as I said in the introduction, what you can't really appreciate from this and the photos and even videos is you just can't really fully get a feel for how cool this model looks like in the flesh and the immense amount of 3-dimensional depth it has. It really is something remarkable. And yeah, I think we're going to see a good few of these over the coming months and years in some absolutely mind-blowing paint jobs. Kit casting quality here looks very good. Yeah, very good indeed. I mean, there's a lot of work to do on it, with it being a large resin model. That comes with the territory. But in terms of the turning out of the castings, no issues at all. I didn't see any air bubbles or anything. Few seams to clean up and quite a lot of casting gates to remove as well. The other good thing about this model is its size. It's such a big model. I mean, it's not cheap, that's the flip side, but if you want a big model to work on, this is a great thing to consider. If you're in the market for a resin model and you want a big one to work on, then this is a great thing to consider. Anyway, that's all I've got to say on Khabanda, the Demon General of Signus from Forge World for the Horus Heresy. I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing. As always, please share your thoughts and observations in the comments section. Be interested to hear those. And yeah, as I said before, it was a great open day 2022. The new model range for the Horus Heresy looks absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to make some content around those when they get released. To finish on, also Josh, who very kindly lent me this model. He has a Twitter account where he posts his miniatures. He also writes blog posts and also articles for several other online publications. So if you are interested, do check those out. I'll leave some links in the description. He's a very good writer indeed. So thanks again to Josh for loaning me this kit. But other than that, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. I'll speak to you next time, and goodbye.